Hey everyone, this is Dave here with a look at the new update for Battlefield 1. This is patch 1.05 we're looking at here across PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So this update launched at the end of last year and there's been quite a lot of discussion about performance being improved. Now looking at the official patch notes, DICE do mention that the threshold for the dynamic resolution scaler has been adjusted, so I was keen to see whether image quality would be impacted at the expense of high performance. Here we're looking at the PlayStation 4 version first, and yeah, I've got to say this latest patch does indeed improve performance in those demanding scenes where frame rates fell quite short of hitting 60 FPS for sort of short bursts. Alpha heavy scenes with long draw distances in particular now actually play through at a mostly solid 60 FPS, whereas previously they could drop down into the low 50s, sometimes even below, depending on the ferocity of the action on screen. The other thing that is notably improved is the reduction in streaming stutters. So previously, after you'd completed certain objectives in the game, we'd see additional spikes in frame time, along with sort of a brief pause in the action. And I'm pleased to say that this has actually been significantly reduced and mostly completely eliminated in the latest patch. So not only do we get smoother frame rates that more closely hit 60 FPS, there's also less of those stutters throughout the experience as well, so it's generally good news. Image quality also looks pretty solid as well, and despite the patch notes mentioning that the threshold had been adjusted for the dynamic resolution scaler, in the demanding scenes where we previously saw performance drops, I didn't actually notice any sort of negative sort of degradation in image quality. And in the scenes where we were able to get a one-to-one pixel map sort of match between pre and post patch, then both appear to be running at roughly the same resolution. Now that's not to say that the resolution hasn't changed, but there may be points where the dynamic resolution kicks in for slightly longer or perhaps more often, but generally speaking, when you're actually playing the game, we didn't notice any sort of overt changes. So moving on to Xbox One, and there is an increase in performance with the latest patch, but it's not as noticeable as on the PS4. Now I think one of the reasons this is because performance was generally smoother on the Xbox One to begin with, and those streaming stutters we saw on PS4 occur far less frequently on the Xbox One. So in terms of this latest update, those stutters are indeed reduced, just like on the PlayStation 4, but in terms of overall frame rates, it's kind of variable. In some scenes we see a clear improvement where there is less frame rate drops, where in others performance remains very similar. So overall, while there is a small uptick in sort of how smooth the overall experience is, it's not as noticeable as on PlayStation 4. It's also worth mentioning that image quality again looks very similar to the previous release, and I didn't notice the effects of the dynamic resolution scaler being adjusted during gameplay. So generally I think overall across both platforms, DICE have done a pretty good job with this latest update. There aren't as many gains for Xbox One owners, but certainly performance is improved across both machines and you get a generally sort of smoother, more stable experience. Anyway, that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give us a like or subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.